We're 13 days away from kickoff. Where does this Tennessee football team stand right now? Where are we at in the quarterback competition? Where are we at with wide receivers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And we'll talk about that here. Make sure first you hit that like, you hit that share. And if you have not, you like the content, hit that subscribe button. It is free. Gives you notifications when content is released or want to go live like I will tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We'll talk some Tennessee football tomorrow night. If there's any other sports, there's any kind of news, we'll talk that. But mainly the Monday nights are for Tennessee football talk. But let's get right into this thing. Of course, the big question, and I think we know the answer to this. I just think it's pretty much a formality at this point. Who's quarterback one going to be? When will we find it out? I've seen the mods on VolQuest speculate. Heupel. I haven't seen the practice schedule for this week, how they're practicing. Is it? But I know for sure they said Heupel meets with the media on Tuesday. Will we know something at that point? And, I've seen some of the mods on VolQuest kind of, I wouldn't say hint around, but speculate whether Heupel comes out and names Aguilar the starter at that point. Because you're within 2 weeks, it's time to start. There's no need to share reps at this point if you know it's Aguilar, and I think we know that at this point. It said all three quarterbacks were better in the scrimmage this past week, but it said Aguilar really had a good control of it. And I'd be curious to see if guys like Kirbyson or Swain or any of them were in attendance on Friday for the scrimmage and what they saw on it. But I think it's, again, a formality that it's Joey Aguilar. We'll go into Syracuse with him, QB1, and we'll go from there. And what's the expectations for him? I expect he'll be a good quarterback for Tennessee. Will he make some mistakes? Sure. No quarterback's perfect along the way. I still stand by what I've said. He will be an upgrade over what we've had the last 2 years. He's a guy that can throw the ball, and his strength is throwing the deep ball. One thing I liked that I saw from the scrimmage notes as he hit Mike Matthews, Travis Smith Jr., and Amari Jefferson, hit them all on vertical passes, hit some downfield. And there was some video surface of one where he hit Amari Jefferson on a nice one. It was a nice pass, and Jefferson made a nice catch on it. And we'll come back to that trio here in just a minute when I get to wide receivers. But I'm rolling with number 6. I'm confident in number 6 to get the job done. I'm confident in number 6 to lead us to blow Syracuse out of the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in 2 weeks, in 13 days, if you want to be technical about it. Running backs, Josh Heupel said it this week. This is the deepest room we've had. Some of you in the comments, I've had a lot of good comments this week talking about it, and I agree on this. I think Star Thomas is going to play a bigger role than we envisioned coming in. That's not to say the other guys, that their roles will go less. It's just that he's been that good. Josh Heupel has specifically mentioned him after both scrimmages. But Deshaun Bishop, Peyton Lewis, they said DeJuan Morris made some plays in the scrimmage on Friday as well. Not heard as much about Justin Baker, but Heupel was asked, and he said he's doing good things as well. It's a deep room. It's numerous guys who can make plays. And I think that unit, it'll be, I don't think there will be a running back one like it was with Dylan Sampson last year. It could be the hot hand each game. You'll see a little bit of all three, if not all four. I definitely expect Bishop, Lewis, and Star Thomas getting some action and what they can bring to the table. I said I'd come back to the wide receivers in a minute. The more I get into this, the more I'm not as concerned about the wide receivers. And I'll tell you why. Yes, the Brazel, the Staley injuries, are they precautionary or what? But from what I've read this week, you should have everybody out practicing. You start getting those reps in within the next 2 weeks. That'll be big for them. There's talent in that room. There's talent in that room of your 7 scholarship guys. And I'll tell you this now, I stick by it. Based on what I've been reading as well, I'm thinking Mike Matthews may be the go-to guy. Brazel and Staley have a lot of potential with them. In the event they're hurt or can't get on the field, though, Travis Smith Jr., Radarius Jackson, Amari Jefferson can get in and make plays. And it said George McIntyre hit Joakim Dotson for a touchdown in the scrimmage on Friday as well. It may be unproven, but there's talent in that room. And I've kind of changed my tune to more that I read about this offense too. And another reason where I'm kind of not as worried in that room, wide receiver room, is I do believe there's guys that can make plays. Will they make mistakes? Yes, they're young. They're unproven in that room. But there'll be some plays made. I really think it will. And another reason too, though, is because of that tight end room. Tight end room is absolutely loaded with Kitzelman, Davis, Brame, Van Dorselier. Will Cole Harrison play a role? Interesting to see that as well. But the more I hear about Deshaun Brame, that just seems like such a weapon that they could have, that they could do so much with, whether it's 12 personnel, whether they move him out into the slot, because I've seen people asking on VolQuest, could you see that? And the mods have said that is something you could see. Now, they didn't say for sure you would, but Brame in the slot, could Ethan Davis go in the slot? I think definitely Brame. I think he will be the ultimate playmaker of the group. Just based on everything. But that's not to diminish the others. That's a loaded room, man. They can do so much with it. I wonder if there's a package you could put all four of them in and do so many things with at that point. That's just speculation off the top of my head. I mean, you go 4 tight ends, 5 linemen, your quarterback, your running back. Man, you could do so much with that that it would be crazy with it, especially when you have that much talent in the room. And I'm curious to see if that's a wrinkle they could break out. I don't know if they will, but it's something I'm curious about. And then the offensive line. I like this offensive line. Now, Hurd, Moy Jr., it looks like it's going to be Sam Pendleton at center, Jesse Perry, right guard, David Sanders, right tackle. If anything, the right side is very youthful with Sanders and Perry, but there's talent there with it. Either way you go, even if you went Satterwhite at center, Pendleton at right guard, you've still got youth in the middle and on the outside. But this is probably the most talented line that Tennessee's had under Josh Heupel, in my opinion, with it. Now, there's no Darnell Wright right now. David Sanders Jr., though, he's got all the hype. I expect big things from Lance Hurd. And I think just an underrated pickup was Wendell Moy Jr. Just how solid he was last year with no penalties, no sacks. That's what you need in there. A guy gets in there and does his job. Pendleton, I think, is an underrated pickup as well. And again, your young guys are coming along too. Satterwhite, you hear about Bennett Warren, Jamias Hurd, Sham Umaroff in here. I like what's happening with this room. And you look at the whole offense in general, how much talent is in each room. Yes, there's unproven spots, but, man, there's so much talent. That's why I put that video out this week, or this past week, I guess, talking about the trajectory of this program. You look at the depth chart, man. It's young, and it is talented too. And there's more coming. There is more coming as well. Defensively, now, one thing, and I'm curious on this one too. Defensive line, I think, will be solid, but it's a loss. David Hobbs is out. It said a few weeks with a foot injury. I don't know if it's a sprain, a break, or what it is with it. I've not seen the specifics of the injury, but it's a loss because Bryson Eason, Jackson Moy, and David Hobbs are your top 3 tackles. So that's going to put pressure on Ethan Utley, Isaiah Campbell. I've seen it speculated too. Could Dominic Bailey, Tyree West, some of these guys move inside too. We've seen that before. We've seen it a couple years ago with Tyler Barron, how he predominantly would play end. And I think they call it the rabbit package. He can move inside and do some things. There's enough depth here. I've heard good things about Jamal Wallace, JUCO transfer a couple years ago, that he's come along. Can he now take a step and be a big part of that as well? Hopefully you get Hobbs back by Georgia is my hope on that. But I've not seen the extent other than just a few weeks. So, that could go anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks or more, obviously. But Joshua Joseph's back practicing. But in the meantime, while he was out, said Caleb Herring, Jordan Ross really amped it up, took advantage of their opportunities. Linebackers, Carter, T-Lander, and you guys know my opinion on this one. The baddest dude in the room to me is Edwin Spillman, and I can't wait to see him play football. But I'm curious, too, does guys like Jaden Harmon, Jaden Perlotti, there's Jordan Burns, and there's a lot of talent in this room. It's just a matter of putting it together. And I think the one thing with that unit last year was the biggest thing, they struggled some against the pass. I feel like they got some dudes in here who can combat that a little bit now. And I think Spillman to me is the game changer on this defense. With his speed, with his knack for just knocking the crap out of you. But I don't think he's a reckless guy. I don't think he's a Jeremy Banks where he may get 10, 15 tackles, but 2 or 3 big penalties per game. No, we'll see. I think he's more controlled guy. And then your secondary. Now, if anything, that's probably the most questions on, or not probably, it is the most questions on the defense. When will Jermod McCoy be ready? I don't think he'll be ready by Syracuse. Could be wrong. I mean, the fact that he's going through things, but Jermod McCoy, what about, what's Boo Carter? Boo scrimmaged this past Friday. And they say it's day-to-day with him. So what's the day-to-day? Is he going to be suspended for a game or two? What is it? I think once you figure out that punishment, if he's on the team, he's on the team. Then if he's still earning his way back, whatever. But where are we at with that? If he earns his way back, he needs to be in the lineup. But there's depth there with Colton Hood, Ricky Gibson, Jalen McMurray. They've talked highly about Ty Redmond, true freshman coming in, that he's earned the trust. You could see him in. And then your safeties with Turrentine, with Farouk, with Beasley. Those guys are I think it'll be a solid room. I really do. I think it'll be solid. And, of course, like anything else, a lot of it's going to depend on getting to the passer, because it doesn't matter how good your secondary is. If you can't get to the quarterback, if the quarterback has all day to throw, they're going to pick a defense apart. That's just the bottom line when you have all day to throw. But, I stick with 9-3. I really want to go 10-2 with this team. But there's those 3 that I've talked about and over, just Georgia, Florida, Bama. I think Tennessee can beat any of them, but 2 of them are on the road. Florida, Bama, not won since 2003, and Georgia's owned Heupel. Georgia's owned Tennessee for almost the last 10 years. We'll say 8 or 9 years for sure. Ever since the Dobnell boot, it's been domination. Last year was the closest, but Georgia got away at the end on it. Special teams, you return your kickers with it. Who's going to be the returners? The kickoff return is pretty much irrelevant now. It's normally a guy fields it. Well, you don't even hardly see 5 returns per year now. It's just a touchback or a fair catch normally. Punt return is the big one. If Boo's in, Boo's the guy. We saw him make plays with it. But if there's some kind of suspension or something, who takes his place? Multiple guys have been working back there, it's been said. But, we'll see, man. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think things are pretty much settled at this point. Really, the only thing, it's just a matter of them announcing it. I'm excited about this team. I think there's so much talent on it. Yes, there's some unproven positions. But, man, every week I keep getting more and more excited about this team. And I'm not ruling out a playoff berth again this year. The big thing is win the games you need to. Maybe if you can steal one of those 3 with it and not have any slip-ups along the way, because it's a pretty manageable schedule. And your home schedule, other than Georgia, Oklahoma, I'm curious to see Oklahoma. People are high on them. But, I expect it to be a tough game. Arkansas will need to take to the woodshed this year. There's no excuse for Arkansas to come in and give Tennessee trouble. But take care of business. Don't have that slip up. That's going to be the key with this team. If you do that, you get one of those 3, you're in the playoffs again this year. And there's none of this crap where 4 teams get to – it's from what I've read, they're seeding them based on the rankings or based on their record. So Tennessee would have been hosting SMU a year ago if it were that format. Not that they would have beaten Ohio State regardless, but it would have still gotten them another round with it this year. You go 10-2 this year, good chance you'll host a playoff game since they're not doing the automatic buys for the conferences this year. But this is Frank. This is the House of Orange. Hope you enjoyed the content. Leave me a comment on it. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you when I see you.